Bullshit.
Well, you're most welcome to today's video. Now, I want to look at an article that I've looked at from Medscape, which is a well-known online publication for nurses and doctors, and it's made a rather bold claim. It says, and I'll read it out, CDC says 44% of people with COVID who were hospitalised had a third or a fourth booster dose. So is this true? If so, quite interesting questions probably need to be asked. Now let's just look at this now. So here we see it here. This is from Medscape, and I put the reference there, of course, as we always put the references. Now it's saying almost half the people who were hospitalised with COVID-19 last spring had been fully vaccinated and received a third, or a fourth indeed, booster dose. Now this is coming from Medscape, so it struck me as being quite an extreme claim, and of course we have to be very careful on this channel that we abide by the community guidelines. So we have to go and look at the source of that particular reference. And here we see it here, and it is from the Centers for Disease Control, and that's the link to it there. You've put the link there, you can check it out. Laboratory confirmed COVID-19 associated hospitalizations among adults during SARS coronavirus 2 Omicron BA2 variant times, when that was predominant. This is what this is about, these hospitalizations. Now, the data is from the COVID-19 associated hospitalization surveillance network. Now, obviously, I'm not as clued into the US system of data gathering than the UK one. We know it's not actually as good in quite a few ways, unfortunately. But we do believe that this is highly valid data, and it's certainly with the source that the CDC is using itself. So data from COVID-19 associated hospitalization surveillance network. Date is 20th of March to 31st of May, when BA2 predominated. Now, among hospitalized non-pregnant patients, so they seem to want to differentiate between pregnant and non-pregnancy here, which is fair enough. 39.1% had received a primary vaccination series and one booster. In other words, they'd had 3 jabs. So quite a lot, really. 3 jabs, and 5% had received a primary series, that's the first 2, plus 2 booster doses, so that's 4 jabs. So checking the claim, that's 39.1% plus 5% is 44.1%. So this claim is absolutely true. Of the people hospitalised in the United States, in this collection area, in this collection time, during BA2 Omicron, over 44% had had a full vaccination dose plus a booster, or as in Mr. Biden's case, 2 boosters. And yet 44% of those were still hospitalised. Now we need to go a little further, but clearly this is pretty disconcerting data. So Medscape is correct, well under by 0.1%. Therefore, CDC advises, now this is CDC's advice, all adults should stay up to date with COVID-19 vaccination. So having said that 44%, just over 44% of people who were hospitalised with COVID-19 had had a full and a boosted or doubly boosted dose of vaccine, CDC then go on to say this. All adults should stay up to date with COVID-19 vaccinations. Sorry, my head was itchy then. So interesting. And also saying multiple non-pharmaceutical and medical prevention measures should be used to protect those at high risk for severe COVID-19 illness, irrespective of vaccination status. Now, what they're saying here is these people at higher risk need to be constantly protected. But I would like to ask the CDC, well, how long ago were we going to protect these people for? Because COVID-19 is now endemic. It's not going away for 10 years or 20 years. Are we going to protect them for the next 6 months, the next year, the next 2 years, the next 10 years, the next 20 years? This becomes, to my mind, completely unrealistic. And I would have thought there's a place for natural immunity here. But CDC don't mention natural immunity, but natural immunity, let me assure you, exists. It exists. But they don't seem to mention that, unfortunately.